All right, so is that good? Excellent, thank you.
We enjoy your stories, and you do a good job.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Us older kids, we enjoy it.
Well, thanks. I hope you like today's.
Okay, good. Yeah, we enjoy it. Really good. And you speak nice and information.
The only utterances coming out of my mouth will be those two things I just told you. I'll try not to hum along. Okay, I'm talking now, and I'm not going to talk very loud. I'll talk just like this, I think. So this is good volume. Okay? So I don't need to worry about anything. I just turn on. Okay. Okay, thank you. And if you hear me humming along while playing, just turn me off, please. Of course.
4 meetings.
Carl brought an extra water for you.
Thank you.
I'm tempted to say we should make an extra warning for COVID because Crystal, our admin assistant, has tested positive.
Well, I don't know. Uh-oh.
She did all the right stuff.
Yeah.
But
Well, oh, um, hmm.
Lord, we welcome you. Wherever you come from, we welcome you. Wherever you are, we welcome you. Wherever you are, we welcome you. Good morning. Welcome to First Unitarian Church of Toledo on this 10th day of July. I am Judy Lee Troutman, your service associate this morning. Our senior minister, the Reverend Dr. T.K. Barger, is leading the service. It's hard to believe that we're almost halfway through July already. We are glad you joined us either in person or on YouTube this morning. Our church is dedicated to helping build a fair and peaceful world. Instead of having a set creed, we covenant to support each other in our search for individual personal search in meaning. If you are visiting today, you're welcome to note the cards in the pew rack in front of you and take any of them that you would like to have. If you would like to receive our email, UUFYI, in order to be in touch with all of our many programs and activities, please fill out the yellow card with your contact information. There's a rainbow card which lists our principles and sources which are being featured in the sermons this summer. And these are principles and sources that Unitarian Universalist congregations covenant to agree to support. You may join us after the service in Fellowship Hall, down the hall and to the left, for coffee and an opportunity to meet others. And I understand that there are a few bags of peaches there. So first come, first serve, if you'd like to have a bag of peaches. For morning announcements, we'd like to thank Tom Sheehan for providing music for today's service, as we're between music directors. While we continue the search for a new church musician, if you're musically inclined, you're invited, like Tom was, to play an anthem and hymn on Sundays or prepare the complete music for a service. Contact Reverend Tim if you'd like to perform and accompany on a Sunday this summer. There still are some slots open. By the way, we're also searching for a new bookkeeper. It's a very part-time job, but demands particular skills centered on nonprofit business, and it helps an accountability safeguard for the bookkeeper not to be otherwise connected to this congregation. So if you know of any interested people, please have them contact the church office. We're also in search of a person or team to take the lead in organizing a late summer rummage sale as a church fundraiser. Someone to manage donations in advance and collection of the donations only the week of the sale. Another to organize the day of the event, and a third person to handle the money aspects would be ideal. But if there is someone who wants to take on all three of these slots together, kind of a holy trinity for us, you're welcome to volunteer. And if you're interested in taking part in this yard sale, please contact Sandra Kosek Sills. That concludes our announcements today. The opening words are from What is Holy to Humanists by David Breeden. Late in his life, the philosopher Richard Rorty, a well-known atheist, was asked by an interviewer if he could define holy. Perhaps the interlocutor thought the aging and dying Rorty would be stumped by the question or would fall into some traditional language of reverence. But Rorty was not stumped by the question. He responded, holy, the hope that someday my remote descendants will live in a global civilization in which love is pretty much the only law. For a humanist, holy doesn't have to do with particular places, words, or books, or even particular ideas, which must always be under interrogation. Holy is a place where and when the basics of human flourishing are realized. Among these basics are the inherent worth and dignity of every person, a world community that stops the battling between clans, tribes, and nations, and respect for the planet and its creatures.
As Judy lights the chalice, I have these words by Deborah Falk. A chalice lit in our midst is a symbol of our liberal faith, a faith built on the foundation of freedom, reason, and tolerance, a faith sustained by acts of kindness and justice, a faith that visions a world flourishing with equality for all her people, a faith that demands the living out of goodness, a faith that requires thoughtfulness, a faith of wholeness. This tiny flame is the symbol of the spark of all this within each of us. And please join me in reciting the covenant of our congregation. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Our opening hymn is number 159, This Is My Song. You might recognize the melody from last week. The lyrics are different, and it is a wonderful melody, and I'm glad that we continue with it. So Tom will play and lead This Is My Song with our volunteer choir.
And everybody, please do stand as willing and able and join in the singing. Our volunteers here are volunteering to lead you in singing. So thank you.
Good morning. We are going to do a new early UU tradition today, but kind of new to us. We haven't done it in a while. Does anybody know what this is? The Wonder Box, yay! We are going to use the Wonder Box today to talk about fairness. And to do that, I am going to need some helpers. And I'm hoping that Sawyer will be a helper, and maybe Miss Elliott could be a helper. Do we have anybody else who feels like being a helper today? Jalen, you want to be a helper? Come on up. Do we have anybody who is a kid or feels like a kid, plays a kid on TV? All right. Looks like we got 4 good helpers here. If anybody else feels like coming up, please do. So, who among my helpers wants to open the Wonder Box? Sawyer, you raise your hand first. Here, let me set it down. You can reach it. Okay. You probably could. What do you see in there? Say that again.
It says there, fake kit.
A fake doctor kit? And the what?
Look at it.
Look, yes, I know what's in there, but I want to tell everybody else what's in there. Okay, it's a fake doctor kit. So, I am going to be a doctor today for us to talk about our fairness, okay? And I want everybody to pretend they've come to the doctor because something is wrong. Can you do that? Okay, then what's wrong can be anything you can think of. It can be you have a sore throat. It can be your toe fell off. It can be you have a tapeworm. It can be a piano fell on your head. So tell me what's wrong with you. Yes,
Or you could be almost dying.
you could be almost dying. I'm a very good doctor. All right, Miss Elliott, you want to tell us what's wrong with you?
Cut on my thumb.
Oh no, poor Miss Elliott, a cut on the thumb. Jalen, what's wrong with you? Do you have hot dog fingers?
Why would I have hot dog fingers?
Does your hair hurt? Did you get stung by a bee?
No, I haven't.
A cut on your toe? Oh no.
And every time when I walk on something that's super hard, it bleeds.
It bleeds a lot. All right.
Way worse than the cut on my
Yes, Sawyer, what's wrong with you?
Actually, I gotta tell you this. Hair does not even have nerves.
Hair doesn't have nerves?
Yeah, so your hair would never.
Your hair would never hurt? Thank you for that fact check. I appreciate that. You're probably a better doctor than I am. So what's wrong with you?
I want to be actually this.
You just want to be the assistant? Okay, you can just watch. Susie, do you have something that's wrong with you? Do you think maybe you got bit by an alligator? Or a tarantula? Do you think maybe your eyeball exploded? No? Is there anything wrong with you? Do you have tennis elbow? Or do you have a tummy ache?
What about amnesia?
Ooh, you could have amnesia. Is it a tummy ache? You look like you might have a tummy ache there. Okay, all right. Well, we'll fix everybody up, okay? All right, let me get my equipment here.
Wow.
Yeah, fortunately, I am a real doctor. I don't just play one in church. All right, Miss Elliott, you had a cut on your finger, is that right?
I do.
Okay, let's fix that up. It's a real Band-Aid, yeah.
It's a real Band-Aid. For a real cut.
For a real cut? Oh my goodness.
Cut.
Well, I hope my hands are clean enough.
Yes.
Jalen, you got a cut on your foot, right? That bleeds a lot?
Yes.
Okay.
You did a real Band-Aid too.
Everybody, yeah. All right, give me that thumb.
Toe.
Thumb. Give me the thumb. Thank you. Sawyer, you're sure nothing's wrong with you? You still feel okay? You feel okay? Excellent. Susie, how's your stomach ache coming?
I just think some cricket that was dead.
You just saw a cricket that was dead?
No, I think it. You can actually eat bugs.
You ate a cricket? Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy.
I ate a bug before and instantly.
I ate bugs before.
You ate bugs. Susie, let me see that finger. I'm going to fix your stomach ache. All right. Now then, I feel like I've treated everybody fairly here today. So are everybody's problems solved? Jalen, how's that Band-Aid working on your finger? Does that help your toe? There's a tarantula over there? We will worry about that after church. How's your toe doing, Jalen?
It still hurts.
Not any better?
No, it still hurts.
Susie, did that Band-Aid help your stomach ache? It did? What a nice patient you are.
Actually, Band-Aid does not help stomach aches.
Band-Aid doesn't help stomach aches. Oh no, but I treated everybody super fairly. I feel like
Yeah.
everybody should be equally happy. Do you think that's how it should work? Yes, Jalen.
Yeah, in In order to make your stomach feel better, you have to take Pepto-Bismol.
Pepto-Bismol. Yeah. You don't think a Band-Aid on the thumb will do it?
No.
Even though that's fair treatment, everybody got treated the same. Do you think that helps everybody?
No, because
No?
you need certain medicines, and also Band-Aids doesn't probably help everything.
You need certain medicines and Band-Aids don't help everything.
Yeah.
What would have been better? And some anti-venom. So what do you think then might be better than treating everybody fairly? If being fair doesn't help everybody, what would be better than that?
What if we treated them for what they need?
What do you think? Do you think that might be better?
Yes.
Yeah? Excellent. Great. All in agreement. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Good job, you guys. Thank you for helping.
So as our kids and helpers go to religious education, any kids are welcome to go along. So enjoy your time in religious education.
More still and small, deep inside all, I hear you call, singing. In storm and rain, sorrow and pain, still we remain singing. Calming my fears, quenching my tears, through all the years, singing.
Please join for a time of meditation, contemplation, and prayer. We have had our time of celebration of the 4th of July, combined, of course, with wonder, with some fear, some nervousness. Fireworks were not good for everybody. And the news of shootings and killings, perhaps another surge of COVID disease on the way, the challenges of living in this world with strangers, in community, with family, with yourself. Our words of meditation today are by Albert F. Charcia. I do not like the hate it feeling. I do not like the hate it feeling, but I have it. I hate it that there are too many good people who allow the ways and works of violence to continue. I hate it that too many people who know better simply talk and pray about justice and then believe that they have thus fulfilled the requirements of justice. I hate it that the world seems to be top-heavy with people who seek to serve themselves with pleasure that demeans human nature, with activities that waste their potential. I hate it that there are too few who strive to stay free from the pressure to conform, free from the mediocrity of compromise, free from the tyranny of approval. I would be delivered from all this evasion and blindness, apathy and self-service. Because I live in this world in my time. It is my world. It is my time. I must fully realize what that means to me and to the world as I touch it. I will then let my hate for all that spoils the beauty of the earth, all that diminishes the life of the world, move me to thought and effort that celebrate and promote peace, that honor and serve justice. Damned be conformity and compromise and approval. I should not even begin to seek, hold, desire. Yes, I do not like the I hate it feeling, but if I must have it, I will use it to move my mind and heart where they can do the most good. Let's observe 1 minute of silence.
The reading this morning is a responsive reading, the Charter of the United Nations. And please watch the screen, those of you who are here, to know what your parts of response are. We, the peoples of the United Nations, determined to save succeeding generations from the scourge of war, to reaffirm faith in fundamental human rights, in the dignity and worth of the human person, in the equal rights of men and women, and of nations large and small, to promote social progress and better standards of life in larger freedom, and for these ends to practice tolerance and to live together in peace as good neighbors, to unite our strength to maintain international peace and security, to ensure that armed force shall not be used save in the common interest, to employ international machinery in the promotion of the economic and social advancement of all people, have resolved to combine our efforts to accomplish these aims.
We, the member congregations of the Unitarian Universalist Association, covenant to affirm and promote the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. This is the only Unitarian Universalist principle that is a goal. The others are in the present, you could say, and the proposed eighth principle on anti-racism and anti-oppression, which we'll talk about week after next. Using the term journeying is a principle in progress, both in terms of its coming to be adopted by Unitarian Universalist congregations, but also in its intention that we continue to do the work now to build beloved community. But this world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all with goal is an ideal, and we're not there yet. Is this sixth principle, in a way, turbocharging our emphasis on community by saying we want good community not just for our congregation, but for everyone in the world? Does it carry too much happiness and joy to say we want one peaceful, free, and just world? Is it, with our Unitarian Universalist focus on this world rather than any afterlife and a heaven, our Unitarian Universalist equivalent statement to other religions' aim for their adherents to live in a kingdom in paradise after their deaths, that we can show that this world can actually be heavenly if we live together well? It certainly reads like a happy principle, doesn't it? Or might this principle be viewed from another angle, with it having concepts that seem to scare conspiracy-minded people? What do those who speak of one world as something threatening, who use the term New World Order as a potential empirical edict that won't be good for the people? Would our sixth principle reach those who assume that world community can't have peace, liberty, and justice? That peace, liberty, and justice somehow come with terror? Is this principle taken by some as a narrow presumption that world community means the presently existing United Nations would be a controlling worldwide government? We don't usually consider these aspects when we view the full list of Unitarian Universalist principles. This principle kind of gets absorbed in the saying, the recitation, and of course we do, as we're near the end of the reading. It contains much more than we think it does, in my opinion. It's a bigger principle in a way, like the world is bigger than we can comprehend. We don't realize how vast our globe is, which also means how grand a statement this principle actually is. I'll be speaking more about the concept of global in a few months, probably in October, tied to this year being the 500th anniversary of the first circumnavigation of the globe, begun in 1519 by the explorer Ferdinand Magellan and his crew, and completed after Magellan's death in 1521 in the Battle of Mactan in the Philippines by Juan Sebastian Elcano on September 6th, 1522. There's a lot I didn't learn in school history classes about what went on during that round the world trip. 55 years later, from 1577 to 1580, the first exhibition leader known to circumnavigate the globe, Francis Drake, did so on the Pelican, which he renamed the Golden Hind during the voyage, which, if you want a tangent, gets to the question of why does tradition say you can't rename a ship? No answer from me. There's a qualification with that being first exhibition leader, because at least one crew member from the Magellan Elcano voyage was said to have completed 2 round-the-world journeys. Illustrating what global isn't easily done. For example, science fiction gives us cities on many planets, pictures of different lands, but I didn't read and don't see much about the scale of a planet rather than a landmass maybe the size of the United States or smaller. There are about 196,940,000 square miles of surface area on the Earth. Roughly 57,112,600 square miles of that area being land. Ohio has 44,825 square miles of surface, so you'll have some idea of comparison. This planet is huge, bigger really than we can imagine. For even if we go all the way around it, that's circling a globe but not covering the whole thing. We need an astronaut to explain the awe of comprehending so much of Earth from their viewpoint, barely removed from the planet. That's about the land. Get to the people on it and think about world community. Realize the size of this planet with at present about 200 countries and a population as projected for January 1st of 2022 of 7,868,872,451 people. There's so much military for protection. It seems wars are always ongoing. And here in our country, in our own country, we're armed to the teeth for supposed self-defense. Is the goal, the idea of world community in any way realistic? I think the answer is actually another question. Does it matter? Drop reason and logic and get into dream mode. Imagine what could be. Maybe this principle is cloaked as a golden rule statement. Wouldn't everyone with free will and an open mind want world community and have its foundation to be peace, liberty, and justice for all? Isn't that doing unto others as you'd have them do unto you? And might a global golden rule lead us to paradise? So in what you do, ask, does it further peace, liberty, justice? Accept that those qualities are what will make for world community, and don't accept less. If peace, liberty, and justice somehow are limited, that's discrimination, isn't it? Recognize that to get there, we have to start smaller, trying to build the best government at local, state, and national levels so that tried, then lived experience with its democratic process can be what covers the world. Peace, liberty, and justice for all comes better from a process of people than any autocratic authoritarian regime building, doesn't it? Make this principle one to guide you, for us all to follow. Maybe remove the goal and make it an action. Live for world community, continuing to provide for peace, liberty, and justice for all. So be it.
Thank you, Reverend TK, for that very thought-provoking sermon. And now it's time for our offering. Your pledges and offerings are a way that you can support the self-sustaining church, its many programs, and its mission in the broader community. You may give online to our website, uutoledo.org. You click on Give and then on Online Giving. You may instead mail a check to First Unitarian Church, 3205 Glendale Avenue, Toledo 43614. And you may drop your donations or even a little extra in the basket on the welcome table in the entranceway.
Want to let you know what's coming soon. Next week at 9:45 is our spiritual forum, which in essence is adult religious education. And this July and August, the topics are to be determined. It could be a free-form discussion, or it might be something on video. Come along and find out, and perhaps help to shape the topic that we'll have that Sunday. And then next week at our 11 a.m. service, we care for Earth's lifeboat on the 7th Unitarian Universalist principle.
And don't forget, after the service, there is coffee hour and social time in Fellowship Hall. Our closing words today are, "The world is too beautiful" by Eric Williams. The world is too beautiful to be praised by only one voice. May you have the courage to sing your part. The world is too broken to be healed by only one set of hands. May you have the courage to use your gifts. May you go in peace.
As we send the flame of our chalice into the community, we hope it spreads peace, liberty, and justice for all over the world. Our postlude is number 148, Let Freedom Span Both East and West. And it's verses 1 and 4. You're welcome to sing along.
Yes, and please do stand as willing and able to join with our, please do stand as willing and able to join in the singing with our volunteer music leaders today. Thank you.